All right, it's Mr. X4 back with another Getting My Rants, and I have here today the same crew.
Includes the
I'm not re-recording this, so that's the intro.
Yeah, no, so let's roll with it, guys. Let's do this.
That's your intro.
Okay, continue, please, Alex.
Oh, me? Oh,
Yes.
yeah. I'm Alex.
Corrosion
Hey,
24. Check out his
Corrosion.
channel. Corroded Axe, Relinquisher.
No.
I'm Alex.
No.
Check out TheBlazinRage, and then Bryan. Hello,
10.
Hi.
Bryan. What is your
Hey.
channel? Father Brum.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so today we're gonna hit on subject which we just watched yesterday was Star Wars: Force Awakens, which was I don't know. I want to talk about this because
Bad.
okay. I want to talk about this because well, everyone else is basically right, but I want to hear what the collective opinion is within our group so we can bounce off some ideas. And overall impressions, I think it was good, but like I do see some flaws that I think people are kind of ignoring. Because people aren't saying it's a perfect movie, and they're saying it's really good, which I can understand. But I do think there are some flaws that people are avoiding talking about. So, first thing to get right off is like, did anyone feel kind of bored when you started watching it?
Yes.
Like, when,
Yes.
at the beginning.
Honest?
Yes, I
no,
did.
not really. Okay, the first. I've
by
seen
the
it
way,
twice
spoiler alert. Spoiler.
Yeah,
alert.
spoiler alert. It's just heads up. There's nothing that we
C.
won't touch on.
P. S.
So
Touching.
this is the second time I've seen it, which was just a couple days ago.
'Cause you're in
And the first time I saw it, I felt like it had some pacing issues. I felt like it was moving very, very fast. But the second time I saw it, I was able to take it in a lot more, and it definitely felt well paced. But it might have just been me personally.
Okay, well, what I mean by it was kind of boring is before Rey and Finn met, I thought the movie was rather slow, especially with the time
Well,
of Jakku.
it was all the different pieces coming together.
The thing
I
is,
did
with
think
the
I do think they spent a lot of time on Jakku, but I think it was somewhat necessary.
I think that having those many characters introduced though without much meaning makes the story really boring and slow to scale up. Like from the beginning,
It was, but they had
like
to
you're
develop
creating a
somehow.
good base, but I think it still could have, gone about a better way where you introduce one character and they slowly meet on the journey rather than bringing all of them in the beginnings and then having them collide.
Well, here's the thing. Then you have to keep all those separate storylines intact for
But see, I'd be
half
fine
a
with that
movie.
rather than just clashing them together.
But
That's
it's-
more of a personal preference, I understand, but like I just feel because of that, it ended up
Well,
making it
also,
the movie
and I feel like
stack
maybe
slowly.
that's just not what J.J. Abrams wanted.
Yeah, but I mean,
He
still,
wanted
it's like,
that quick convergence and for everyone to
I
meet
just
up.
think
Say this
and
about
then,
what
so
every
then the story
problem-
could evolve together.
again, but here's the thing though, like I just think it goes too much from like having introductory characters right into the story, and then it's just a really quick change of pace because you go from having characters on Jakku and you're having different people which you don't know very much about because while there's good
Well, they have
Well,
to
there's
create
good
a base
explanation.
somehow.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I disagree with the way they're going about it. This is just a personal preference.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, by doing that, by creating the base, with all the characters and going around everywhere, we have this space, but then we go slower until we get where they're all meeting, and then it goes really fast from there, which I like the fast pace, but it just, it goes too quickly, like, from transitioning, which is just something I personally dislike about the pacing of the movie. I will agree with you too that the rest of the movie did seem a bit quick, which I did enjoy for the purpose of like just getting more out of it, just getting more
Well, it was the
story.
thing is, like the first time seeing it, there's a lot to process. There really is. But so, and you just have it keeps going from one thing to the next thing to the next thing in the plot, and that's okay. But it didn't feel like it felt rushed the first time I saw it because all this new information, it takes a little bit of extra time to process and put everything together. But when I saw it the second time, that wasn't really a problem anymore, and it didn't. It's just the way you feel when watching it. It's not like, oh, that was a really short scene,
I
the
didn't
way
think
you
it was
feel
necessarily
something.
the information to process. For me, more so, it was just having multiple story arcs and everything coming together at once, and because of that, it ends up having a lot of
somewhat
flooding
chaotic
information.
feeling.
It's chaotic, and rather, I would say it feels like some things weren't drawn out enough for you to really
Well, I mean, there were
have
certain
them
things
feel
that were very
realistic.
focused on, and some things that were just moving right along.
Well, I would say like with development of characters like Finn and Rey, what we see is like going from very quickly just meeting each other, which they had a really good character dynamic, but then I feel like they rushed ahead during the middle of the movie to make them seem closer than friends than necessary. Whereas I felt like that was more appropriate toward the end of the movie.
Together for a lot of the movie, they kept separating and coming back and separating and coming back.
I would say, but again, I think it's just more realistic that occurs at the end. Like, I get that they go through these like life or death situations, which is what creates like stronger bonds. But the thing is, limited time is also a factor that we need to keep like as something we need to keep in mind. So I think by the end of the movie, it's completely appropriate. But the addition of that just in the middle seems a bit stretched, you know. But let's talk about something we all agree on is the god annoyingness that is kind of Kylo Ren. So,
I'm gonna say this: my initial impression of him when I saw the first movie, which again it didn't rub off on me as much as the second movie. I don't know why, but he just kind of is a little bitch.
Yeah. So, in all the trailers and promotions, I thought like
he's gonna cry every time he gets angry.
I thought it was interesting that he was always just like, oh yeah, he's trying to rebuild Darth Vader's legacy and such. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Even though Darth Vader his legacy is like he kind of helped Luke.
Inspired.
But the thing is with Ren, he just is kind of an angsty teenager in the actual movie because he's, oh, father doesn't understand me or stuff like that, or, I got to join the dark side. And I just don't see the motivation behind him turning evil, which I'm sure they'll explore in the further movies because Luke wasn't introduced, so we don't understand everything about the Jedi Order and everything, why he betrayed them. But so far in this movie, it makes him just seem like he's unmotivated. Like he doesn't have any real motivation other than to be, oh yeah, this trainee who's, partially trained in the Sith ways, and he's dark side user. So it seems a bit incomplete.
Another thing I want to touch on about Kylo Ren's like origin story is this thing about the Knights of Ren. In the flashback, when Rey touches the lightsaber, when she's getting that background story that like Luke's experiences with Kylo Ren in formation, it shows in one of the scenes Kylo Ren with his lightsaber, with the handguard on the sides, but it shows these other people around him. They're dressed similarly to him, but not all of them are necessarily Jedi or Jedi in training that turned. Because there's like, I'm looking at a picture right now, and the people to the right of him, one of them has like a spear, another one has like a gun, one of them looks like he has like a club, and it's really interesting because we really don't know anything about these guys, but I hope they turn up more later.
Okay, yeah. Certainly the Knights of Ren were referenced, but we didn't get anything about that. So, overall, another logical fallacy I felt was Kylo Ren's considering Darth Vader as being strong, which I get he's a strong Force user, but I don't understand. He's saying, like, Darth Vader, oh yeah, I praise his strength for
There's
being...
There's natural affinity and strength.
The thing is, he kind of turned good though at the end of 6, which I'm sure that like logically
like
we can
light was sort of like still there and
we can assume logically that he probably doesn't know that he turned good and that he was probably like killed by Luke or something, and they probably all think Darth Vader was still evil, but just having me like assume that connection just makes it seem like a bit of a logical fallacy.
You're overusing fallacy. I feel like you're not using it correctly.
It just seems
clearly you're wrong.
Sorry. Anyways, but
no, logical fallacy is a flaw in reasoning. Logical fallacies are like tricks or illusions of thought, and they're often very
okay. I'm just thinking of like specific instances of
I'm not misusing it. So get on the ground, Cannon. Get on your knees and lick my boots.
Okay, let's keep this.
Yeah, exactly. Sit down, kid.
Scum.
Alex. So what do you think of Kylo Ren?
Well, similar to what you believed, he was an angsty teen. He whined a little bit too much. He was like, he was like looking at the charred face of Darth Vader, thinking about how great of a man he was. But in all reality, of course, he was not exactly the image he thought he is. So it's kind of deceiving, I guess, in a way.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I imagine he's supposed to probably seem immature, just so like there's room for maturity. Like, as he grows, because I'm calling that he's going to turn to the good side.
The thing is, though, like
and then he'll suddenly become more mature.
You'd expect like more maturity to be from people who've turned to the dark side. Just this is again something that I just think of because having someone who turns to the dark side, I just feel like they should understand what they're doing. Like, they should understand their commitment to what they're doing. Whereas, just someone who normally just starts out on the light side, which is just what I'm assuming.
Well, we've never really seen a case.
But I mean, look at Luke though.
He's
whiny. He starts off on the light side. So does
Anakin
and stuff. And I think that Anakin, in fact, matured more as he turned into someone like Darth Vader. Because when we see him in the original, not the original trilogy, in the prequel movies, Anakin's always like really whiny and everyone hates him. And then when we go into where he is as Darth Vader, he's very aged, mature. So it gives this idea of like how once going to the dark side, it seems like someone's more aged and they've gone through more. And this is just more of a perception thing. I know because of the age difference where Darth Vader turns to the dark side, it's a lot different. But it just makes this perception of, the dark side seems to like they have, even though not the right ideas, they seem to be more thought out.
But here's the thing. We've also never seen a case, correct me if I'm wrong, we've never seen a case of a Jedi on the light side going into the dark side and returning to a solid character that is still, like, surviving.
That is still what?
Not in the movie series, no.
It's still surviving, Brian.
I don't know, like, still alive.
There's a lot of stuff in Old Republic, but yeah, you are certainly correct, because this isn't in the movie series.
I don't know, that's probably not the best way to describe it, but you get the idea.
I don't know what you're talking about, because, like, this is the whole new thing, so obviously they're all going to be dead.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
I mean, the one that, like, betrayed the Jedi Order was Count Dooku, and then Palpatine, the Emperor.
No, I'm talking about... we've never seen a scenario where a Jedi goes to the dark side and then returns back. Because Jack was talking about how...
Technically, Count Dooku was on both sides the entire time, if you want to get technical, but I'm not going
to... No, their personal...
with Count Dooku, he literally was like...
Is that the robot guy?
No, that's Grievous.
No, that's Grievous. No, Dooku, it was really weird. He was the only character that actually knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Like, he was both, he was at the same time on the dark side, and he was still on the light side at the same time. Like, he wasn't an informant. It was weird. I can't remember exactly how to explain it, but...
what was his, Well, he was working for the dark side, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, I know, but there's a crap ton of, like, extended universe.
Which
not
got
even
retconned by Disney.
No, actually, they kept some of the extended universe, which I believe still includes the Metachlorians, which is the dumbest thing ever, but...
Yeah.
Oh, you mean that thing that totally ruined the Force?
Oh, yeah,
you can't be a Jedi unless you have a high Metachlorian count.
Oh, but,
what? Oh, boy. I'm a little bit behind.
Yeah.
A lot of weird Star Wars stuff. Yeah, a lot of weird Star Wars stuff that we don't understand very much about, so... To be fair, we are just...
Yeah, we're not the biggest Star Wars fans in the world. We just saw this movie and have seen the past movies.
Okay, so beyond that, I guess we all can agree, though, like, Kylo Ren is a bit angsty and has room for development, but in this movie is a bit lackluster.
Also, the entire movie...
One really nice, like, author's craft sort of thing I want to point out is... Well, sorry.
Thanks for interrupting Bryan.
I'm going to keep going now.
Okay.
They show that Kylo Ren, he's obviously like this powerful guy, right? In one of the opening scenes with Finn, or Poe, when he shoots his blaster, Kylo Ren is able to stop a shot from a blaster in its tracks.
Oh.
And simultaneously freeze Poe.
Thanks for reminding me that they...
But then in contrast, then Ren is able to just like completely deny him of his force powers. Or of any efforts he makes with his force powers, when she's interrogating her.
Thanks for reminding me, Canon. But let me say that like they kind of overuse Kylo's force abilities because the whole thing where he's like pressuring their head or whatever, or using his Jedi mind tricks or Sith mind tricks, we've never seen that in a Star Wars movie before. So having that just established and thrown us in the face, where he
that's been in Star Wars movie. Well, not necessarily movies, but it's been...
Well, no, I just mean in the movie, since I'm just talking, like, casual audience. Like, that's why I wasn't bringing up, like, people like Darth Vader and stuff.
Sure, but...
So it's, like, very awkward for people who just come and see this movie, like, oh, you can do that with the Force. Like, it seems like... And even
Well,
it's believable, certainly, but the problem is, like, once you have that, you'd assume Kylo Ren's really strong, because you've never seen someone use it at that magnitude before, right?
Well, that's the point. He's supposed to be portrayed as very strong.
The thing is, he got beaten by Rey. That's the problem.
Here's the thing: he's Han Solo and Leia's son, right? Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
Job.
But Rey, we don't know who the mother is, but she's supposedly Luke's daughter.
But see, that's really
what?
BS though. That's like saying, like, oh yeah, I was the son of Goku, and I'm inherently, like, super strong.
Wait.
Well, it runs.
It was never implied that she was anybody's.
Yeah, it also was never implied that she was Luke's daughter.
No.
That's just a fan theory.
Okay.
But that, like, because they portray him as being so strong, yet they make the point that he's still in training, as Snoke just says, like, oh, we need to complete his training.
Sure.
But then he gets. I'm glad that he loses to Finn, which makes sense. But the whole BS where Rey is just like, oh, I think of the Force, and then they plays the old music from
They show a lot of content,
and then she just beats him, is really, really stretching it, because, come on, she's never trained with a lightsaber before. I get that she's a scrap collector who has to fight sometimes on Jakku, but no way is she capable, like...
Oh, he's been training for years, and under Luke Skywalker.
There's no way that Rey would be able to... That's literally like her going, like, Super Saiyan 2 against, like, Frieza.
Yeah.
That's
I want to point out some of the other things, though. Like, they show Kylo Ren using a lot of his Force as very, like, forcive techniques. Like, I know, like...
Forcive techniques?
Bad
That's not how the Force works!
but
Let's go turn off the shields.
To get into people's minds, and he tries to use it to force objects and stop things. It's very, like, aggressive use of the Force. Whereas Rey,
it's kind of called Force.
You mean like how it's always been used in the movies, like where Darth Vader chokes people, and where, like, Emperor Sidious electrocutes people, and where Obi-Wan Kenobi kind of just uses it to, like, brainwash the people and make them say what he wants them to say, like, these aren't the droids you're looking for.
Hey, the Force, something called the Force is aggressive
and uses
what?
Something called the Force is forceful.
I'm about to make a comparison here.
Yeah,
okay,
made a very poor comparison.
Okay, go on.
Anyways, Kylo Ren is seen using the Force for very aggressive means, whereas Ren, most of her uses are, like, self-defense.
She used it, like,
So
twice.
you mean like they've used it in all the, like, how the Jedis have always used it and how the Sith have always used it?
Okay, you're literally being an asshole.
I'm just going
pointing out
up.
your flaws.
I'm trying to point
I'm
out.
not literally being an
okay,
asshole because I'm not excreting fecal
Cannon,
matter like you are.
Cannon, finish your statement.
I was just trying to point out more contrast between Rey and Ren.
But okay, but
oh, so you mean like a Sith Lord and a Jedi? That contrast, like good and evil.
No. But, like, what I mean is, like, so what is your point, like, bringing up the contrast though? Like, I want to hear what's.
Oh, he just wanted to say that they were good and evil. He just wanted to bring that up.
No. But Cannon, seriously though, I'm curious because you did bring this up for a reason. So, like, this major contrast between them, which does exist, it's showing the same thing as the Jedi and Sith. So what makes it so important?
The fact that she's able to do these things without training shows that she has a much larger affinity, which is something we have to consider. Because Kylo Ren, he's been training for years to get to the state that he is in, right? But Rey, she's had barely any experience. Like, within a day, she's been able to apply all these different things.
But in my opinion, that just seems a bit like lazy.
I want to say, like, this. It's kind of ridiculous that she's able to do this much.
They have to do it in a way that's much more believable in the sense.
Like,
I don't know if she really did that much, to be honest.
Like, they said that Anakin was strong with the Force, right? That he had a really, really high.
Look how bad he was against those Sith Lords.
But he couldn't do much even though he had a high affinity.
Yeah. Well, okay, so as far as that, another big thing I would like to say is Han Solo's death, necessary.
No!
It's so sad, but I agree with you. It was
necessary, because they need to make way for new characters. I will say it's a bit underplayed, like, in the sense that, like, I thought it was a bit, like, over-dramatic on Kylo Ren's part, which just, like, made it seem more like he was an angsty teenager when he did that. But other than that, Han Solo's death, good.
I mean, sorry, I was going back just because I looked this up.
Yeah.
The training, Yoda's training to Luke was only about a week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
but
But he wasn't able to beat Vader on on Cloud
Yeah,
City.
we want-
Oh, I understand though what you're saying is like it is like Jedi can certainly like get to that level, but it does seem rather like very.
Well, and she didn't
very
have
plot
any health either.
I mean, but then again, once Luke comes back in like the last Jedi, in the last Star Wars movie, he is pretty strong actually.
Oh yeah, he's been training.
He is on Vader level. Anyways, so those are as far as like the things that kind of like bothered me a bit about the movie. I can see that some people might get bothered about the fact that the movie also like basically uses the same, and as Canon pointed out, it's essentially trying to parallel the prequel, or not the prequels, the original trilogy, at least.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's so many parallels between all of it.
You know, we get the fight. We get Bryan pointed out in the theater. He's like, "Oh, of course, there's going to be a trench that leads to the core of the planet,
Of the Death Star
that lets you blow it up."
The Death Star 2.
The Death Star 3, you mean?
3, yeah. What?
Nice. Oh no, sorry, the Starkiller base. Anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's rather interesting, and I just. I will say this. I think the First Order, they do a better job painting them as, like, definitely villains rather than the Empire. Because when I watched the original trilogy, I never really saw the Empire as villains. Like, I get they blew up that one planet, which is horrible. You know, that's genocide. But, like, still, it was just like, yeah, that's a totalitarian rule. There's going to be a lot of death. So I don't see how this is, like, way worse or sinister than anything else. In fact, I see them as, like, providing some sense of order, you know, where the Republic was not able to, because there were wars going on with the Republic. At least, you know, under this, they were able to crush everything else, right? With the First Order, because the galaxy's already in chaos, you get this greater sense of terror because they're blowing up multiple planets. They have this even better Nazi imagery, in my opinion, than the originals did.
Well, especially with that one speech.
Yeah, especially with the one speech where the guy was basically, you know, Hitler. He was trying to scream about how to end the Republic and stuff.
Like, I was waiting for him to say Heil Hitler at the end.
I have a lot better, like...
Why would Hitler say Heil Hitler?
Heil me! But, yeah, so
he's the World War II version
I just
of
thought
Kanye.
they did a way better way, like, they just portrayed the First Order as being evil as, like, a way better black than, like, just having them gray.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, but...
You're wrong.
I hate you. Anyways, Chris... Never mind, I'm not going to say that anymore.
Okay.
But... I don't know if I have any misconceptions here, but I have one problem with the First Order. Like, and all of the other ones or all of the other evil organizations in general. But like,
Sith Empire.
Yeah, Sith and Empire. Thank you. They're kind of just there. Like, of course, they send, like, they're this posing threat and they do bad things.
Yeah.
But
Both
they
the Sith and the
learn about
Empire
them
will never
motivating.
mention what their goals were, if that's
Yeah.
what we're looking for.
And
Exactly.
neither did the First Order do. But, I mean, I just feel like the First Order did a better job than the Empire.
Really, just like the idea
all
of the
the story-
Sith was to get rid of the Jedi, and then the Empire was what they established after the Jedi were gone.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming the First Order is just trying to take
See, the
that
thing is,
back.
like,
That's-
whenever I imagine the Empire, I was just like, yeah, I feel like if I just move along with my life and not interfere in their business, they'll leave me alone, and I can live a normal life.
I feel like there's a lot of planets that don't seem to be really greatly
With
affected
the
by
First Order, I feel like a lot more like, oh, they're
They're definitely
harder
Christian.
totalitarian, where they're going to slaughter all of us. Okay. Beyond that, the other great thing I really liked about the movie, I would say, is, like, I think the cast had a really good, like, I don't know how to put it, but they just seemed to work well, like, together.
It's a nice lineup.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
I
Ren,
like
or
all
not Ren, sorry,
characters.
Rey and Finn, best. Their lines, like, just meeting each other were so good. I just thought, like, this is, like, perfect, like, and it wasn't unrealistic either, because you could feel that was the type of, like, personality they both
I'll be right
carried,
back.
and they just worked well together. So,
Yeah, for sure.
um,
But they weren't like so attached to each other either. They keep splitting apart and going back and going their own ways.
up until
and
the
having
bit of
their
the
own
movie where
issues.
he was kind of desperate in getting her and saving her. But there,
Yeah.
I will say that to their credit, he had that one thing where he was running away from the First Order. So I think they did a good
And
job
well,
developing him.
he claims that he's not a hero, but he definitely has the mentality of one.
No,
Or
he's not a hero, Canon. No, you don't get to do this to him, Canon.
Okay, but Finn and Poe, I don't know.
Finn and Poe were pretty cool.
I mean, they yes they were, but they met each other about once.
Well,
And they acted like they were
I'll say
friends
this,
since
Alex.
birth.
I'll say this, Alex. I thought about that, but then I realized, like, in that kind of life or death situation where, like, I was, like, flying ships with a dude, and it wasn't, like, Ray, like, it was, like, a cool dude like Paul, where he was just, like, you know, having the droid and stuff, I'd be, like, pretty cool, like, I'd be like, yo, dude, you're alive?
Well, here's the thing,
dude, you're alive? How's that?
How did you survive?
Like, I'd be pretty chill with that, like, he'd be pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, no, Finn's just such a great, like, funny character, and so is Ray.
He was
like,
good.
they're both good characters.
I'm in charge now, bitch.
Yeah. But yeah, and I will say this: the movie has a lot of comedy elements too, which I thought were.
Well, it was in the first.
It's really well balanced too. Like the comedy was well fit in.
Yeah.
That's also been in the first trilogy too.
Yeah, no.
Not in the prequels.
Yeah.
Jar Jar Binks was the comedy.
Oh
relief.
yeah, you're right about that one. Yeah.
We all know that he's the real Sith Lord, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good job, Cam. Nice.
Hilarious joke.
Nice original theory.
Hey, why can't I reference things?
Hey guys, I have an idea. What if Jar Jar Binks is actually the Sith Lord?
Oh, dude.
I hate you.
So funny.
Okay.
It would go cookies.
Anyways, so yeah, those were basically our overall like just thoughts. Since we did just watch the movie, you can see like this is what our impression was, or what the movie left us thinking about just after watching it, which will kind of give you a sense of like, okay, what does the movie leave on you, like what kind of lasting impressions. So by no means is this like any formal thoughts. We haven't had time to construct our thoughts really. This is just us kind of rambling on. But yeah, those were our general thoughts, and hopefully in the future, you know, they continue with a good job because I think Disney definitely knows what they're doing. Like.
Mm-hmm.
I pointed out that in the beginning with the movie where they had the adjectives for like the sinister First Order and the brave like Republic or whatever. I was like, yeah, you can tell this is a Disney movie, but you know, I think they know what they're doing.
And also on an ending note, I want to say like it seems like we're complaining a lot about this movie, but I honestly loved this movie.
Yeah, it's just these are a lot more like preferences of mine. If anything I said was negative, and especially because like. This movie was like such a good movie to just like watch, and it was great in a lot of aspects that it's hard to talk about and pinpoint them because it just works together so well. So we just were able to point out, like I would say I pointed out 3 things that I was just rather uncomfortable about in this movie. And if you can get 3 things like that out, like compared to other movies where like if you were talking about something like Transformers, which I could see is like fun to watch, but I could point out a lot of flaws in my opinion.
The movie.
So I, you know, and I like it has less flaws than Avengers also. So I mean,
Let me point out where your first flaw is you're watching Transformers to try to find like cinematograph. Like good stuff.
But the CGI,
Meaning
Bryan.
and
Whoever's eating
depth.
should their mic.
I said their cookies are good.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah. That was.
Those are our thoughts. Leave your thoughts in the description about our thoughts or
Nice,
just
in the
your personal
description.
thoughts.
Okay. Yeah. Leave
Nice
it in the
plug.
description. Anyways.
Comic before.
Okay.
Below.
Now, in the next part of this Get My Rants, we're going to be just talking about some League stuff, because, come on, what else are we going to do? We love League. Okay, no, we hate League.
Even though we suck at it.
Sucks. I
love
love this
League.
game so much.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so we're just going to be looking at some stuff from the Surrender at 20, like, patch notes for the next patch, which is going to be 6.1. So, beginning of the season, it's going to be interesting. I always like preseason. Well, this is the second preseason I've been. But I always like it because I like having a lot of new changes because it makes the game feel fresh. And just having a stale game would definitely be boring. So, first thing I would like to talk about has actually been a hot topic for a while. It would be the new dynamic queue system. So, before I say anything, what do you guys think about it?
I think it's... Oh, proceed.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
Oh, okay. I think it's going to be very interesting. It's definitely going to change the way it's played because of the 5-man ranked queues. I originally did not like the idea because I felt like it was just ranked teams, but I feel like we've all had those games where we've had those players.
Like, you don't necessarily say to yourself, like, oh, I deserve to win, but you say to yourself, I feel like I should not have... I feel like I should not have lost this horribly.
Yep.
Like, you feel like, I feel like I should have lost with a bit more dignity than having
Jack, you say to yourself, this team.
Yeah, it's going to be
Great.
this team.
So, yeah, at the very least, like, now we can choose our teammates.
It'll be a little bit more.
Yeah.
Cannon, you're not allowed. I'm kidding.
I mean, they're doing the same thing, right? Where it's like a 5-man will versus a 5-man.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So unless if you're doing a 5-man, which at that point you should probably have some level of organization, really won't affect you that much if you're just solo queuing still or like duo queuing. But
Yep.
I say I'll predict that like 3 and 4 queues are going to be a bit shaky, but
Yeah.
beyond
Which,
that,
I'll be honest, we're probably going to end up in a lot of 3 and 4 queues.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
just knowing our group. And, alright, so next point I'd like to touch on is the new Keystone Masteries. How do you guys feel about the League of Thunderlords?
Okay. Here, may I go first?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so
So personally, I feel that I like our new Thunderlord overlords.
A Thunderlord overlords.
Yeah.
Okay, but
See how it feels, Canon?
I'm so sorry, but I hate you at the same time.
Okay.
Go
Go on, Cannon.
So, as I was saying, I feel like it's very streamlined right now. You don't have a lot of options to go. Like, oh, sure, for some AP champions, you could either choose between Thunderlords or Deathfire Touch. But really, like, Thunderlords is even better. Like, in a lot
I
of
think that they need to add a better option for poke that's not Deathfire Touch.
the thing,
Because
I
Deathfire
think
Touch just does not do damage, in my opinion.
the Masters from
Because-
last season.
Because it's dot, it only synergizes with dot, but they nerfed it so it only has 1 second for actual dot damage, so now you can't even use it with like Teemo and Brand effectively, and Thunderlord's dominant on everything. I want something that like one-hit champions, like I want something that like a Nidalee or a Varus can use effectively to like get them, because I know Nidalee can use Thunderlords for when she goes melee form, but like a poke champion like Xerath or like Varus who doesn't want to run Thunderlords sometimes, if you're just going for one-shot pokes, then it's kind of
I'm saying
annoying.
you can't
One-shot pokes.
No, not one shot them, but like just shooting one ability at a time.
One shot
pokes.
Thunderlords. And the same issue comes with like someone like Karthus. Like, what do you run in Karthus? You run Deathfire Touch, but Deathfire Touch barely does damage. Like in my opinion, I just don't see Deathfire Touch as like.
Well,
a
they
really-
forgot
Deathfire
about
is just
several
generally good
champions.
for like maybe like Malzahar with his E.
But no, the thing is, Malzahar's E is dot, so it negates most
Yeah,
of Deathfire
yeah,
Touch's
yeah.
damage.
They forgot about a couple of champions and
Yorick.
into Yorick, Fiddlesticks,
Oh,
Karthus.
Hey, they're reworking Tarek soon though. Okay. How do you guys feel about these new armor pen items? The new Last Whispers that don't give base armor penetration.
Okay. Well,
I'm just happy that they did the smart thing and made it so there's nothing to build against them
Yeah.
beforehand, so everybody plays ADC.
Yeah, true statement.
True.
Oh, Alex, since you like this topic, how do you feel about the new runic echoes being replaced? Runeglaive being replaced by runic echoes?
With runic echoes. Alright. I think it's gonna be, for the most part, unfortunately, a negative thing, in my opinion. Because, as an AP jungler, you're gonna need the mana. You always need the mana.
It's true.
Because
the damage output didn't matter as much. It was the mana, like 8%.
you didn't need the
mana back.
damage as much. It was the mana for taking out your jungler.
Oh, wait, no. This effect deals 250% damage to large monsters. Hitting a large monster will restore 18% of your missing mana.
Well, that's pretty decent, but it's not.
But it's not Runeglaive consistent.
It's not actually. Yeah,
it's a large.
it's not. It's large monsters. Yeah.
I don't really understand because they have so many different options for. Well, not so many, but they have a lot of options for an AD jungler. But again, they're just like, you only get one if you're AP.
Yeah, that's so true.
I guess it isn't really smart.
is
though.
Brian's voice lagging for anyone?
Yes, it is.
Right.
How do you guys like the new League of Blue trinkets?
Oh.
Oh, actually no, they recently nerfed those, but like at this elo, since we're only in silver, it doesn't really happen as often. But I know like those pop up a lot more in higher elos, and blues are just spammed across the map. What do you guys think of the new awarding items for the support, where they build from their?
Okay, well,
they're not very efficient. Like their item slot efficient, but like gold efficiency and just usefulness.
Well, here's
is
the thing.
way
Like,
under.
I would rather get a Face of the Mountain than the Sightstone item because Face of the Mountain is just so much more useful.
Yeah,
You
it
would
has
rather
more
get it.
utility.
One first of all, you personally. Well,
Brian, your voice is lagging.
Brian,
a lot.
it's like you're not even understandable.
Alright, well, anything else you guys wanted to hit on?
I mean, not really. I'm ready to see where it kind of goes. I definitely think that like Brand and Darius are some of the most OP people right now.
I don't think Darius is.
I don't
Or
I don't
Brand,
think
actually.
I mean, Darius is just kind of an insta-ban. I haven't even seen him in many games.
Well, that's because we're at low elo. Like Darius
Yeah.
is not insta-banned. Like, I think Gold Plus Darius is like
Not-
definitely insta-banned.
Yeah.
Um,
One thing I do want to note, even though this is going back a little bit, Kindred is definitely found. It's pretty balanced, but not many people play her because she's not very a team player.
It's not a good team comp. Like Kindred doesn't fit well in team comps because she's
Mhm.
an AD carry in the jungle.
And that's just because of her champion, not.
Yeah, that's not because of anything. Because she is actually really.
She's
strong
well balanced,
stats.
yeah.
She has strong stats and a good kit, but the thing is, it's just not comparable to someone who like, oh, if you have Sejuani, you can ult into them and you can get a combo for your team.
Exactly.
So you're not, you're just not getting that efficiency. Well, anyways, I guess that's all we wanted to talk about then. I don't know. This has been Getting My Rants 4, probably. Yeah, I'm counting the other two before this and the one we just did a few months ago. Yeah, no, we're being lazy. We were gonna release one like every 2 weeks, but yeah, yeet. This has been MrX4.
TheBlazinRage.
Corrosion.
And Father Brum will say for him.
He like DC'd or something, so Father Brum is the jack of all trades, signing out.
See you next time.
Peace.